Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday to you. Welcome to Midnight Hatter Live, the weekly variety show where we talk Gundam, Gunpla, video games, tabletop games, all of that good stuff. Back here again, back in the saddle. We're going to be working on this vintage Eye-Zack kit, and joining us again is the Goosey one. Goose, how you doing, buddy?
Staying loose, good sir.
Oh, glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Glad that you're joining us again. Adam, how are you?
I don't know if I'm as loose as the goose, but it's been a good
Pretty
week.
hard.
Well, yeah, so like, and we were just talking about this before stream, but like, Adam, you're famous now, right? Like,
Yeah, we know a famous person. You're a celebrity in our
yeah,
world.
No, yeah, getting that tweet on the Gundam info,
yeah,
awesome stuff. Spread the
that's
word
like
of
the
Gundam.
the Bamco seal of approval that says
Yeah,
like this guy, he knows
this
his
guy
Gundam.
follows orders.
This guy follows orders.
He's safe. This is a safe person.
Going to be going to movie premieres here soon. I mean,
Oh
That would be
man,
cool. That's the plan. Okay, I
yeah.
started this. No, I started the channel knowing about a Gundam live action movie, and that someday I want to cover it. Still waiting.
Well, yeah, that'll be sweet. If you land a spot at that premiere, oh man, you tell me what to wear, I'll be your date.
Oh, you got it. Yeah.
you guys can go like the guys from South Park. Oh, you don't remember when they went to like the Oscars? They were wearing like J-Lo's dress and somebody else's.
I hadn't seen that.
Oh man, yeah. Trey Parker and Matt Stone they've got just such a fantastic sense of humor.
Yeah, they know. They know how to be topical, even
Yeah,
as old men.
exactly right. Let me. I feel like I feel bad. Well, I suppose it's not going to matter once I go to our screen share view. Boom. That way we don't lose half of Goose's face here. So I see the chat is already lively. Rogue New Type, Shirt Lad, Gundam Wing, Ian. How are you guys doing? Thanks for coming along on this ride. As you can see, I've started using some masking tape just to hold these parts together because, with these vintage kits, some of these like little eggs, they're not girthy enough to really hold the part together. They're just, I guess they're for show. I don't know.
Yeah.
Now, real quick, I cannot remember if we said this on the stream last time or if it was right afterwards. You were telling us that the parts, when you connect them, you're overlaying the parts to hold them all together.
Yeah, so it's kind of it's interesting. So like for instance, if we were to look at this hand unit here, you see how there's the seam line down the center of the hand. Don't poke fun at me for the nub marks. I'm going to trim the nub marks, once we get the kit completely assembled. But the hand itself, the peg is split in two. And so it will pretty much fall apart if I let go of it right now, but by putting the peg inside of its joint, it actually holds it together the way that it's supposed to fit together. So it's a really interesting design the way that
Yeah.
it's designed to like once it's all completely put together, it holds itself together, but
Yeah, that's like integrated design. I think there's a name for that, which
yeah.
makes sense. It makes things solid at the end, but a lot more thought maybe having to be put into it.
And then the other thing is, how many high grades do you know of that have articulated fingers, including the trigger finger? Like,
Oh, wow.
None.
that's pretty freaking cool. So,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things where you see these sort of little design gimmicks that were lost to time, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. No, that yeah, as they go, they're like, well, we can cut costs here. Do people really want the Yeah, I bet that's
Yeah.
how it
Do
went.
we need the articulated fingers or can we just use like a rubber hand?
Yep.
Or are we going to be supremely lazy and we're just going to cast entire hands that hold beam sabers like this? Like,
No, but it's so funny. It's cool. It's funny. Although, at the same time, that option is nice because it's a secure way to hold a beam saber.
it's true. Yeah, I think that it, that bend in the wrist is so much more natural, I think, compared to like, most gunpla when you have the wrist kind of held up straight. That's like not how people sword fight. Like
Right.
they do kind of cock their wrist forward a little bit. Um See, now I'm gonna get demonetized because I used the
You
word
just
cock in the
you
first
said
10
cock.
minutes of the stream.
I know. Can't
No,
say cock.
I don't know these new YouTube rules. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but like YouTube, the algorithm's insane right now. I'm getting weird recommendations from, all kinds of different things.
Oh.
Have you guys experienced this?
I already get to see weird things on my YouTube account because
I don't
my
want to talk
youngest
about
daughter
that.
has my iPad, so she watches like Coco Melon and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be like,
Wow.
you guys, and the next one will be like, you want to watch Coco Melon and sing goodnight?
I can't say I've seen any other crazy recommendations come in, but I was reading some of their updated guidelines, and they have reduced the strictness of foul language at the beginning.
Yes.
Apparently, it's something to do with within 8 seconds, and it's like some of the words are okay now, which
Yeah, we made it in like 2 minutes before he said cock, so I mean we're good.
Yeah, we're okay.
no, which I think it's cool. Over time, they've probably seen how they had to like lighten up just a bit, and it was interesting. A video that was done for the Bandai Namco thing that I was doing with them. It got limited monetization due to suitability, like the
Oh, that's an
content.
interesting one.
So I
Maybe
asked the other people
violence?
that made similar videos, like, "Hey guys, did you happen to get dinged for something?" And they're like, "No." So what it
Hmm.
does is it gives you an option then to have it reviewed by a real person.
That's
So
nice.
I clicked it, they reviewed it, and they released it
Hmm.
from limited. So it was one of those things where the algorithm assumed for some reason my video wasn't suitable for ads. And I was playing Gundam Battle Operation. Does it have to do with guns? Because it says violence, guns, nudity is stuff that for suitability.
Yeah,
But
that would
I'm
do it.
glad that I could have someone review it and then they come back and be like, "Okay, you're good." So
That's good.
yeah, at least
And I
there's that.
apologize to you guys for, I know that's a little bit of like inside baseball talking about like YouTube. Well, my analytics show that.
Well, and the big thing too with that is, and this could be an idea that you could do too, is like sometimes I want to break down music, Gundam music, but anytime I feature Gundam music from the shows, there's again limited visibility. So an idea someone came up with is post your video on Patreon, but for free.
There you go.
So something that would normally get demonetized on YouTube, I might start putting on Patreon for free. Just get people to go over there because I do want to break down music more, but it's hard to like have people listen and then I break it down because YouTube's gonna be like, no.
You
Yeah.
need to get on Instagram and be like one of those drummer guys and just do Gundam music and have people do parody songs to it. And you can...
I mean,
I've
that'd be
thought
pretty
about
sweet.
it. I want to get back into the drumming with Gundam. The issue I had was I went a couple days where I couldn't get the audio in sync, and I was like, "F it, I'll do this later." And I haven't gone back to it.
That's when the narrator chimes in. He didn't get back to it.
Yeah.
Later.
That's good.
Oh man. But yeah, speaking of Patreon, we had a fun stream yesterday on the supporters only stream, which doing some more Gunpla experiments. We'll see how they turn out. But yeah, if you do want to see that kind of stuff, links down in the description below to check that out. And while you're down there, subscribe to Gundam Explained. Apparently, they're this like pretty big channel that's getting shout outs from
he's a
Gundam
celebrity.
Info. No, it's cool. I mean, there's honestly a video. I am just waiting for them to say go ahead and release it for me to release it. Like I've been waiting.
You mean they didn't go for the aerial tier list?
No, there's another one that's pretty cool. I can't talk about it. It's some of it has been revealed already, but yeah. It might not be as interesting to people that are already super deep in the lore, but it has some cool. Yeah, I shouldn't say too much more.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's not violate the NDA.
Yeah.
You like being in the know, so let's. Yeah.
No,
No.
that's pretty awesome. But yeah, like I said, video dropped this morning. G-Witch mobile suit tier list. That was
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
Yeah. I don't know how many people have actually got to it yet since that was first thing this morning, but I think I did a pretty good job of telling the world what is a good mobile suit and what is not.
You are the authority on that.
I'm the
Um,
authority.
no, I mean honestly, I feel like it was a little less trolly than your last one, than
Yeah.
your last tier list.
And what's funny about the last tier list was the trolliness of it was almost like the honesty. It's like, my honesty would come off trolling, but let's just do it anyway. Yeah, this one is kind of hard to be trolly, I think, because I think the funny way to go about it is if I ranked everything F and be like, this is a horrible series. What are they doing? This is
Yeah.
piloted by a woman. It's an F. I don't know.
Ugh.
I'm just joking.
I mean,
Since we're talking about women, real quick,
Oh, yeah.
you had a question months ago where somebody was saying they were upset that there was not more women in Gundam that were. I'm trying to remember how they worded it, but it was like more stronger women in a series.
oh yeah.
I finally did the impossible and started watching Zeta. Can I tell you, I was dumbfounded on like how many like basically Sailor characters there are in that series. Like they do everything.
Yeah. Fa
True.
being the main one, I think. And yeah, as they introduce them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so Adam, you recently shared with me those the translated sort of production notes from Zeta Gundam, which was pretty awesome. Gave some interesting insight into the sort of thematic approach that Tomino was going for in Zeta Gundam.
Yeah.
And one of like the lead sort of one of the lead themes was strong women in Zeta. You know, the the pitch was basically like, women are gonna save the universe type thing. And Char is supposed to be the main character, and then I remember it was explicitly stated that like Shirako is more powerful than Char, and he's going to beat him, and that's it. It's like, in
Mm.
fact, I think that originally intended Shirako was supposed to kill Char, but
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Just kind of realizing how similar their names kind of are, like how you
Char
pronounce
Raka.
them. Yeah, it's but kind of speaking of Zeta, Goose, did you watch See Destiny?
I've seen all of Seed and Seed Destiny.
Okay. I'm still in the middle of Destiny, but Atherin being Quattro, like,
Yeah,
and
yeah, I can see
Char.
that.
It's like I haven't gotten to the end yet, but so far he has like that same storyline.
yeah. So I mean, you
Especially
see,
with
you see what I mean, where it's like Shin is supposed to be kind of like the Camille figure,
Yep.
Atherin's supposed to be like Quattro.
Yeah.
It's it very much is like, hey, we're trying to retell Zeta.
But I gotta say, like, I am super impressed with some of the themes and dialogue in Destiny. Like, the episodes I was watching last night, how on the nose it tells the audience the war is being perpetuated on purpose in order to make money from weapons. And the guy's like, we got to stop this somehow. Like he's like literally saying what it literally is, not just like, oh, this side's bad, we got to stop them. I don't believe in their ideals. No, it's not that. It's like they're profiting off of war and it's probably not good. We should stop them. But the Lacus character, at first I was like, this is being shoehorned in, kind of annoying. And then it got to a point because they had that double. And I'm like, well, what's the point of the double? But then it's like, okay, this is almost like modern times. They're using an influencer to kind of spread a message. And I was like, okay, See Destiny is working on levels I was not expecting.
Like I said, unpopular
Yeah.
opinion, but I enjoyed Seed Destiny.
That's great. The fact that you do makes
Really?
complete sense.
I always thought people like Destiny more than Seed.
Well, Yeah, Destiny more than Seed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I
I think
like
that's what we
Destiny
said.
more than Seed.
Oh yeah, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
My only grump about those series, and actually it's more of Destiny, was the upgrade suits are really not that big of an upgrade.
Mm.
Oh yeah, like the infinite justice from the justice.
Yeah. I mean, even the Strike Freedom, I mean, it's not that big of a change. I would have liked to have seen, I don't know, I would have liked to seen just a little bit more in the suit. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a cool suit, but
Yeah, the suits are cool. I think they're cooler than other AUs, but I don't know. And I kind of like the faction heavy design like of the suits because like when they have their grunt suits, that Murasame, the same name as 4.
Yeah,
no,
the
yeah.
And the
Murasame new type
suit
labs.
transforms and looks like a Zeta Wave Rider. Again, I think that's all intentional. It has to be.
Yep.
Um, but those suits are sick. And then the Astray, which that's a grunt suit, right? And I never knew that. I would always see the designs, be like, oh, that's like that some ace pilot suit. That's badass. But the fact that it's like a mass production suit for
Yeah.
Orb, like that, yeah, a lot of cool stuff going on there.
Agreed.
And just to add another thing when it comes to Lacus, like for me, that's like that was purposely like, here's again, Macross done in Gundam to the
For
point
sure.
to where during the very embarrassing and awkward singing animation scenes that uh, there's one of like a couple frames of animation she does that is an exact copy of Macross.
Oh, I
Like
never
more of
noticed
the
that.
close up where she's like moving her shoulders, like it's like frame by frame copying Macross on purpose.
Right.
But
I
yeah,
mean, that's the Tarantino, right? It's like it's
yeah,
an homage. It's not a
homage, yeah,
it's
that's a good way to put it. So again, there's so many layers to Destiny. Uh, I'm surprised. Can't wait to finish it. And I'm on level. I'm level. Might as well be. No, but I'm on episode 30, and it's not getting bad so far. I feel like, and again, I haven't finished it. I feel like um
might have just done
Kira is a
25
bad guy. To me, every decision he's made in this has resulted in bad stuff happening.
I mean, he is a terrible character.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if that was the purpose. Everyone idolizes this guy, and then they show how he's doing things that are just messing everything up. And there's even a scene where after he's blowing shit up because he thinks he should be, he's talking to someone. He's all like, I don't even know if they're really the bad guys. I don't even know what's really going on. It's like, what? I thought like your confidence was part of your heroic ability, but
Right. That's a weird thing to admit when you're in the middle of like killing lots of people.
yeah, because it was after that that cool Zaft pilot that just shows up and he's kind of cool, and then he gets killed.
Yeah.
Like it was because of Kira, and then later he's all like, because I guess they're trying to figure out who's trying to kill Lacus,
Right.
and he doesn't even know yet. He's just going off killing people, kind of showing that it's his attachment to Lacus that's making him make these decisions, and not anyway. I can't wait to finish it so I can do a proper
Yeah.
deep dive.
Give it its due.
Yeah,
you'll like the I think you'll like the ending of it.
good. Can't wait. I've been honestly like, my wife hates it. I've been like binging like 3 or 4 episodes at a time at night. She's like, "Yeah, you can go watch your cartoon." Okay.
Man. So yeah, this is another one of those parts that's like everything will crumble if I let it go.
Oh, until you put the rest of it. Yeah.
Yeah, until I mean I've got to apply some cement to these for sure because there's some
Okay.
I mean even this part's going to be kind of wobbly. But I will continue to use masking tape to hold things steady.
Hmm.
One thing I will say about Seed versus some other AUs is I was a little disappointed at the quality of mobile suit introductions. This came up on Twitter the other day. Someone was saying like, "Oh, what was your favorite like debut of a mobile suit. And of course, as much as I wanted to say like, oh, well, when the Zeta shows up in the Wave Rider mode and they're like, hey, we got to get the Zeta to Camille so that he can kick some ass.
Yeah.
As much as I wanted to say that, I think Gundam Wing by far has like the best and most, dramatic mobile suit introductions. Like the Epion, when Treize gives Hero the Epion and he's just like, I made this. And you like see the eyes light up and the green glow is coming off of him, and then he just tears off through that canyon, cutting people to shreds. That's like, whoa. This is
I think right now, and I'm gonna have my moment. I think you are really missing the mark, and you're not pulling up Zeta right now. I think the Mark II landing on the building and killing people is the best. And the guy just gets out and he goes, "Well,
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna do more than a written apology on this one."
That's a good point. That's a good one. Because it's kind of just showing the incompetency, I guess, in
Oh
general.
my god, that had me laughing so hard. Like, I was like, "Wow, what a dick!"
Oh yeah. And that's one of those moments that I can't wait to cover this, in kind of like my in-depth breakdown of Zeta. Is like, there's so many small moments, these little vignettes where you get to really see the motivation behind characters, and so many of the Titans are so rotten to their core, and it's like the most bureaucratic, failure way to the top organization that I've ever seen. And and people are thinking like, oh, well, how did Paptimus, he must be some kind of genius if he takes over the Titans. And it's like, no, he was just the smartest guy in a room full of dumbasses.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You see that interaction, even if they're like in the hallways, the briefing room, the characters, when they talk to each other, the Titans, they have like this, emotional immaturity that lends to like dumb actions, but makes them look bad and evil and don't, and all that stuff. So
Now, I think we've had this conversation before. When they joined, they all got one rank up?
I think there's something, I don't know. Yeah, the official.
Yeah,
Do you?
there's
So you figure, like,
some
all
kind of
these
like
people that
rank
were, like,
promotion when they become a Titan.
Yeah. And that was even in the manga when I was reading that recently, and they talked about that. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it really signifies like have either of you guys read that manga, We Are the Federation Hooligans?
No, but
No.
that sounds like a killer.
I think you brought that up before. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's very easy to see how those guys would become Titans, because they're like, Goose, you've mentioned in the past that like you really like the sort of Top Gun aspect of 0083. We Are the Federation Hooligans is like, it's like Top Gun, but there are no Mavericks. It's like everyone's a slider.
Oh.
Well, speaking of that, Goose, didn't you say you had a question related to other IPs?
Oh, yeah, you wanted to so we were having that discussion about movie franchises, like which, like, Stardust Memory is basically Top Gun.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wanted to slightly change it. What franchise would you guys want to see enter the Gundam series? And I'm almost 100% positive, if I had to put money on it with Adam, that it is going to be a very, very famous sci-fi.
Yeah, if I
Jonathan.
said Star Wars, that just wouldn't be fun because it's obvious. Give Vader
No,
this mech.
I think you're
that-
going to go a little darker.
Okay, Evil Dead.
Ooh.
So the alternate ending of Army of Darkness is he drinks too many things from the potion, so he falls asleep in the cave, wakes up in the future. And what happens is it's post-apocalyptic. There's robotics everywhere. And then Ash fashions himself a Death Coaster 2000 mobile suit. So he uses parts of the car, and he builds a giant mobile suit to fight the giant Deadites that they hint at, in Evil Dead 2, but also in the TV show at the end where I guess he goes into the future again, but there's a giant Deadite. So Ash kicking ass in a mobile suit of the Delta
So
fighting.
basically the Gump.
Yeah, it would look it would look like it's put together that way. But yeah, there's mine.
Nice. I can just imagine him like, getting in the cockpit, in the like quick cuts, and then all of a sudden like a chainsaw arm comes up and he's just like groovy.
And it
Pulls a
should be
shotgun
that
out with a
he's
lightsaber.
reaching his hand behind, grabbing, and then even have the hand like there's an animation sequence where he's like taking off the chainsaw and putting on another attachment.
Yeah, he'd fit in really well with the Living Dead division.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Which that reminds me, I think it's like, was it Unicorn or Narrative, where the mobile suit was able to infect the other ones to become like zombie mobile suits because it shot the wire out. That might have been Narrative.
I think it happened in Unicorn because the Neo
Oh.
Zeong kind of did it with
the Neo Zeong.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. But what about you, Goose? Your idea? I know we were talking about.
I really got to walk away from Top Gun because I just love Top Gun so much, and then it's like we already have basically that in the Gundam universe.
Well, we were talking about Predator earlier because 08 MS team, him jumping into the jungle. An idea would be is he takes out a mobile suit, the Predator, just with his own gear. And once he kills the pilot, he goes in, and it's one of those montage sequences where he's then repairing the mobile suit to be used by the Predator, and he mounts a gun on the shoulder so that as he's driving it, he can like shoot and the beam saber, it's 2 beam claws that come out. That would be sick.
That's pretty sweet.
I'm trying to think of a series that I would love to see. Because Star Wars is too on the nose.
Yeah. What I mean, like, I feel like what are some other movies I like? Yeah, Star Wars. I like the Evil Dead movies, Aliens, and Predator. Some of that stuff seems pretty obvious.
Yeah, I feel like I need to go bonkers on this answer, and I'm trying to think of how to go bonkers on this because all my answers are super serious.
That's true. Like,
all right,
sense. Yeah,
I've got it because I was watching this the other day, and
Okay.
I don't want you guys making fun of me.
Oh, we're gonna make fun of you regardless.
We take them out of the Gundam universe. Okay, they have all the parts for a mobile suit, but instead of mobile suits, they have to build cars.
Fast and Furious.
And they all have no
Okay.
wacky racers.
Okay. Well, there's one way to go about it.
Have Char get like one of his underlings with him and have him a mustache.
Okay, I see where you're going with this. Then you could have it in Sonic, where Robotnik gets a Gundam as his robot, his mecha. It's like instead of his death egg robot, it's a Sazabi.
Now, are we going film universe Sonic or
the one with the teeth?
This will be its own universe.
Okay.
So then later they can all meet up, in a MCU like.
See, now I feel bad. I've been ignoring the chat, but I've got some good recommendations here. So Shirt Lad says A-Team but Gundam. Missing Link doesn't count. And Tony says Breaking Bad Gundam.
Oh, interesting.
Both
they get involved into things that don't have to do with the war. They're in the war, but they're doing their own illegal activities, maybe.
Yeah. All right, Kiki Rosita, it's time to cook.
Let's see.
I feel like if we had a Fast and the Furious Gundam, they would all have like the mobile suits sitting around a giant picnic table and be like, "It's about the family."
I feel like that would work. For some reason, I feel like just the dialogue and the dynamics between characters is like anime level.
It really is.
If Rogue is listening, he needs to draw a picture of like a couple Zaku's, a Gundam, a Zazabi, just sitting around the table grilling hamburgers. I want to see that picture.
Huh.
The problem with those kind of big franchises like the Fast one, and then another example I can think of is Mission Impossible. They did it as well in Blade 2. is they do this thing where they introduce this cast of characters where it's like, man, meet the gang. The gang is so freaking cool. You've got like the explosives guy, you've got the like the muscle, you've got the brains, you've got this guy,
The guy
and
with the
then
Need a new
samurai
type.
sword.
and then they kill them all.
Dude, Blade 2 is the perfect example for you to bring up.
Oh
They
yeah,
totally
meet the blood pack. They're the
Yeah.
toughest of the tough. Like they're just we train these guys to kill Blade.
They'll be
They
dead
all
in
die.
15 minutes.
In
Don't
Yeah.
learn
fact,
their
I think
names.
one of the members of the Blood Pack is also one of the members of Dom Toretto's gang in Fast and the Furious 1.
Oh, probably. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I think it was specifically the guy that
Oop.
now I can't think of it.
It was
It
the
definitely wasn't Ron Perlman, the other guy.
Yeah, and it wasn't that big bald guy with the axe, or sort of. It was like the other annoying white guy, I
you
think.
know, we
Yeah.
have this wonderful device that tells you everything on the internet if you just
What's the
look
internet?
into its square eyes and
Well, it's a series of tubes.
Nah. Yeah, so Fast and Furious, and you know what would be cool is almost like War in the Pocket, making a story where there's not really a mobile suit that a main character is piloting, but it's more of like the characters are really in that world, but they're trying to do their own story within it. Like,
Yeah.
I would love if like there's these down on the luck guys, and like then there's a war that breaks out. So like mobile suits are battling in their city. They're like, hey guys, this is a perfect time to rob a bank.
Yeah.
And so like it's them trying to get to and rob the bank while in the middle of the city there is this mobile suit battle occurring. But no one's ever in the mobile suits, like none of the main characters. So it kind of adds that mystery.
Yeah.
back to movie ideas while he's looking up stuff to say
Yeah.
about chat. You heard that Tom Cruise is going to space for one of the Mission Impossibles.
Yeah.
I think you should use your newfound celebrity starhood now. Talk to him and
Yeah.
tell him, be like, hey man, let me introduce you to Gundam. So he's like, hey, I got a great idea for a movie. I need you guys to build me a mobile suit.
And he's like, hey, as long as I can play Amuro Ray.
No,
Okay.
come on. He would, for his honesty, for as old as he is, he needs to play an 18-year-old Bright Noah.
Oh yeah, no,
And we need to see him running across the bridge.
yeah.
Get his running scene in there.
No, that would be cool. And you know what? I gotta say, for that Top Gun movie, it was written in a very interesting way. Stephen, I think we talked about it, where it seemed like it was a series of vignettes that kind of helped tell a larger story. And I think that's a neat way to go about, even if Gundam did something like that. Because a lot of times for me, it's the cinematography, the visuals, the music. Are they encapsulating some emotion? And like, can I feel that? And sometimes that's all you really need, if they can pull it off.
This is the strangest thing. So like there's this wire that goes into the arm socket.
That it came with it, that wire?
Yeah. Fascinating. It
That is.
says that it goes in here and then like the arms pin it down or something. We'll see what it does.
That's interesting. That kind of reminds me, reminded me, but it would be a neat idea for mobile suits to have parts that you build inside that have nothing to do with the end result model kit, but it's more of like, here's this button, or here's this hatch. You know, sometimes they do that stuff, but
Yeah.
it's kind of fun. And you know, speaking of building, here's actually the Blue Destiny Unit 1. Finished this, except I was using Alclad 2 matte coat. I wanted to test it out, and it
Okay.
ruined this. I had to go back with, but I was able to do it. I went back with isopropyl alcohol in a cotton swab and cleaned it all off. But what was happening was it started getting white and chalky, which I've seen that happen before. But I wonder what, in my case, caused that, because it wasn't everywhere.
Probably had something to do with, well, obviously had something to do with a combination of like the paint versus the the what you call it, the top coat.
Thinner? Oh,
Um,
the top coat?
yeah, because
Okay.
like I said, there was the wave shooter Zeta that I was painting, and as soon as I hit it with the top coat, for some reason it turned all white and chalky. Um, and then like I tried to clean it up with a little isopropyl alcohol, and it made it worse. So it was like
Hmm.
I just
Yeah,
had to
so
strip the whole thing and start over.
that's what's interesting about this is I was able to clean it up without affecting even the panel lining underneath, which I I mean, there was a gloss coat I did put on, but panel lines on top of that. Anyway, it looks okay, so I'm really just gonna go back with my flat. I'm just trying multiple types of mattes and flats just to see if I find something I like more. Um, but I was doing it in the airbrush, and my airbrush clogs all the time. It said no thinner needed. It couldn't get out unless I put thinner in. So
Huh,
Now, are you cleaning it after every use?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep, clean out after every use, and then, even for some, they recommend putting in some of the, cleaning fluid and leave it in there, or even they showed me this, video, there was this, like, UV thing that you open it up, you can
Oh
put the
yeah.
airbrush in, close it, and it, like, keeps it lubricated and cleaned until next time.
hmm,
So, about $40, so I haven't bought it yet, but seems like a
interesting
good idea.
stuff.
Yeah, and actually speaking of airbrushing too, so on the backpack on the Blue Destiny, um, it was blue, so I just went in, did some color matching, was able to get it the gray I needed to. So that at least that was successful. So
That's good.
I will. I know some of the people in the group have already seen it. I'm slightly touching it up right now because I did scrape a lot of the black off by accident. But a future project that some people shall see eventually is the base that I am working on for my
that's looking
diorama
good.
Oh, very nice.
that somebody else needs to start working on.
I started and I need to continue. But it should be a fun one too, because it's a lot of like little details to hand paint. So yeah.
You will not like putting the suits together.
All right, so this is fascinating. Um, this Eye-Zack actually comes with all of the parts to make it into a High-Zack.
Wow. Really? So you don't even have to have that giant radar head.
Yeah, we can forego the radar head if we wish. I was just realizing this. I was like, wait a second. Not only does it come with these articulated hands, but it comes with fixed hands as well.
Oh,
It
that's
comes with
nice.
an additional shoulder joint, an additional shoulder pauldron that has spikes on it instead of the flattened
Flat.
bolts, and then it's got a shoulder shield.
And what about backpack with the two beam thing, or
Uh,
the two
that I
jet
think
things?
that looks to be it.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and
That's
so then
that's cool
it's
actually.
got two versions of the backpack. One that has the propellant tanks, and then the giant dome head mounts to the back of that. That's
Wow.
fascinating.
Yeah, that is neat when a kit comes with multiple parts. Because yeah, with the Blue Destiny, it's the regular head, the manga head with exam without, and then the video game head with exam and with it without. So
Nice.
options are
Are the
cool.
heads that different from the game and the manga?
Yeah, very small details. The main thing in the manga, it has this interesting antenna on the side of its head that has like 3 things sticking out. And it has a visor instead of like 2 eye holes or whatever they would be called. But it's interesting how different they are. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very similar to and Rogue New Type will know this that like the ground type GM has two different heads that the high grade ground type GM has the less popular, although I think it looks cooler. It's not the anime accurate head, but um but yeah, then surprisingly what is it? And Rogue New Type will mention this in the chat, I'm sure. There's like the Ground War set
Oh
that
yeah.
comes with both heads for the ground GM.
And what is the difference? You said one.
It's mostly in the front visor. So like the anime version has, I think, more of a blocky and like a blocky face with like the chin like
Mhm.
molded out, and then the newer version kind of has like a flat face plate.
Oh, interesting. I'll have to check that out.
What mobile suit has got the biggest change from like the series from the manga? Throwing that out there as a question.
That's a good one.
One, I think the Gustav Karl that's in Hathaway. If I'm thinking correctly, is completely different from the Gustav Karl in the novel or manga. I forget. There's one where they look completely different. Like instead of looking GM like, it's Zionic like. It's something like that. I think it's the Gustav Karl.
See somebody saying wing. Yeah, it's actually a good point. Now I'm thinking about it because the you like the Sandrock, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen the I think it's called the armadillo version?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, that looks cool. And isn't there even like a Kai? Is that the same
Oh
thing?
yeah, and somebody else is saying don't forget the goose too.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't forget about me, guys.
Oh, the Kai is, I guess that's the one that has a high grade, and it has the Uzi that it comes with, which is pretty cool. That's a cool look.
I love when they take like actual firearm designs and just drop them into Gundam, like
I know.
the AK that the
Riggsy Custom has.
the Riggsy custom has.
Yeah.
Right, didn't that show Andor get in trouble for that?
Yeah, a lot of it looked just like they just gave them weapons and just added little doodads.
Right, which I mean that's what they did in the original
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
All right, so big and chunky. Let's see if we can get this thing held together.
So that suit originally, all they did was just change the head around.
Which one?
The Eye-Zack?
Yeah.
Sort of. I mean, they so it has two rounded pauldrons instead of that kind of Zaku style shoulder mounted shield and then pauldron on the other side. I suppose I could. Let me. Got it handy. I've got bins of all of my projects under my desk. Which, if you're like me and you don't finish anything.
Well, it's nice you got them in bins. They're scattered all over my desk.
So, here we've got the high-grade Eye-Zack. If I can quickly reassemble him. He's obviously seen better days. So he's got a spiked pauldron on the left arm and shoulder mounted shield on the right.
Cool.
And then of course the different head. They both have the same shield though. Like surprisingly the same shield. Like even the high grade version has the exact same, divots and cutaways that this vintage version has. Maybe it's a little slimmer profile.
Either it's accurate or Bandai bought them, and then
that could be.
We like your design for stealing it.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
just interesting similarities and differences.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by that. Like with that the high grade aerial or the aerial video I did where I'm comparing the robot spirits. Man, so many words today. Comparing the robot spirits and the high grade, which I just find it so fascinating that it reminds me of, Hot Toys. There's that, I think his name is JC Hong. It's like an artist that is the one that does the interpretations for the Hot Toys that come out.
Oh,
Like he
interesting.
does the face sculpting. Like I like the idea that there's an artist behind the decisions that are made for, so a lot of what I was really trying to get to in that video is like, I'm really curious, like, was there an agreement of the interpretation, artistic interpretation, or do they allow one guy that's just good at that stuff to do his own artistic interpretation?
I'm glad that you mentioned that because I recently started following a gentleman on Twitter that is the mechanical designer. He's one of the mechanical designers from Build Fighter series,
Mhm.
but he's also responsible for designing the Gunpla, the Lightning Zeta Gundam, the Lindworm Gundam,
Yeah.
and there's another Zeta variant, and it just slipped my mind.
So he's the Zeta variant guy.
Yeah, he's the Zeta variant guy, and I
That's
was
cool.
like, man, that's the job I want.
Yeah.
Design the Zeta variants.
I feel
Yeah,
like
because the Lindworm wasn't even in a show, right? But it was just kind of made as just another Zeta.
Yeah, yeah. The Zeta Bawu love child.
Oh yeah.
So there we go. He's starting. Speaking of Predator, he's starting to look a little like a xenomorph with this like
Yeah.
the
I'll
protruding.
start calling it nickname the Queen.
There you go.
Exactly. But he's coming together. I think the last thing we need to build is the backpack. But
Nice.
like I said, it's pretty awesome that it has some of these spare parts that you can use to make other versions. It's like,
Yeah.
I might practice painting on some of those parts so that I don't ruin the main kit when I'm actually doing the finished paint job.
Good
But
idea.
also, it might be cool to make like a variant that, maybe this one has the shoulder shield, or like, how sometimes oh, I just came up with a badass idea.
Could
Oh,
you use those parts on another
see.
kit?
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, what's your badass idea?
Oh
Sorry.
yeah, so you know how like sometimes Zaku's will have one of the shoulder mounted shields, but they carry it on their left hand and it's got spikes for like, some
Oh yeah.
fisticuffs.
Yeah.
I could just take the shoulder spikes from here and mount them onto the Eye-Zack shield and do the same thing.
Oh yeah, that's a cool idea. That
Although I
that would
don't.
be cool. Dual wielding those spike shields.
Oh
That
yeah,
would be a good idea.
like the what is it, the Shizrum Gallus?
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Um, but yeah, see if we
Oh,
can.
Captain Philippines is going to Japan in April, going to propose to his girlfriend in front of the Gundam Unicorn.
Oh, congratulations!
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That sounds like fun.
that's great. I wish that I had as good of a proposal story as that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Same.
You'll have to tell it on the stream and be like, there was nothing more romantic than standing in front of a giant robot proposing to my future wife.
Well, my wife probably would have said no if I. No, I kid.
Anytime I tell my wife I'm going to talk to you guys, she's like, you go have fun with your little friends.
Oh,
With your foosball friends.
that's good.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question. And this is for Steven, because Adam, I've already gotten you a bunch of goodies. Let's hypothetically say I bought you something, Steven, that's not Gundam related.
Well, but you did buy me something. You bought me this.
Not Gundam related.
Not Gundam related?
Not Gundam related.
Hmm.
Do you think you can introduce people to slightly non-Gundam?
I mean, I guess I technically am the slightly non-Gundam guy between us, right? Because, I've done some video game stuff, and yeah, I think we could
I feel like
probably arrange something like that.
because you sent me a picture of the coolest, should be a actual Gundam that's not a Gundam, which made me go out and pre-order something for you from my local shop. I'm waiting for it to come in to give you a hookup. By the way, shout out to Rogue. He just hit you up.
Oh,
Oh, hey. Appreciate it, Rogue. So yeah, super chat from Rogue New Type. Those GM heads were included in the Gundam Ground War set for retrofitting the old OVA HG. There's a picture showing in the set. Works for the new high grade. See, there you go. And this is why, at some point we've got to get Rogue New Type on the show, because
yeah.
He knows his jams.
as much lore knowledge as we have between us about the show, Rogue New Type knows more about like kit history and like which kits are compatible with which parts.
Yep.
It's one of those things where like a lot of people on my Discord server will ask, hey, can I swap this limb from this high grade onto this IBO kit and this stuff? And Rogue New Type's like, no, the pegs are, slightly or slightly too far apart to get a clean fit.
Yeah. That's interesting. So I guess that the Ground War set wasn't really based off of the OVAs, but they included those heads anyway, which that's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's very cool. And personally, I prefer the remodeled head that comes with the new high grade. But I know a lot of people prefer the more anime accurate head that comes with the Ground War set. So, but yeah, thanks for the shout out, Rogue, and
Yeah.
thanks for catching it.
You're welcome. I was going to say, to give Rogue another pat on the back, he knows so much more history. I feel like on the, I know the three of us have all talked to him for multiple hours. He knows more stuff about like the suits that are not included in the series. Like I was describing one to him that I saw like in a picture one time, and he's like, "Oh, it's in this series, in this manga right here. It's on that like this page." It was like it blew up in like 2 pages.
Wow, that's cool.
Like he knows so much about grunt suits over anything else.
Yeah, which, I mean, there's a lot of them out there that you get like maybe one quick panel. This kind of reminds me of something that I always bring up. Like why I am not a big fan of the camphor, and how I have this theory that I call it the Boba Fett law of inverse popularity.
Mm.
And so what that law states is that the less you see of something, the more popular it is going to become, the more cult popularity it will cultivate, because you don't know anything about it, so your mind gets to fill in the blanks. And so Chris Gore recently on a live stream that said as much. He was like, the most interesting thing about Boba Fett as a character is the fact that we knew nothing about him, and then as soon as they filled in his backstory, I don't care anymore. He's and it's the same way I feel about the camphor. Is like the coolest thing that we know about the camphor is the fact that we know nothing about it. Then as soon as you have people filling in the lore of it and saying like, well, it was actually designed to be a high-speed prototype that engages, it's like, nope, I don't want to hear it.
It was cool for 30 seconds. Let it be there.
Yeah.
It had a shotgun and a chain grenade.
Yeah, chain mines.
And a shotgun. There we go again with the real world weapon.
And there you go.
Yeah, that was.
We're stealing parts from other suits.
Yeah.
Which one looks most like a car?
Oh, to answer Jay O'Traze's question, these nippers are my cheap ones that came with a kit. Like, it had like a bunch of sanding sticks with it and a couple of metal files that, it's like a Gunpla starter kit. I think it's like $20. I've got my nicer nippers here that I would be using if I was trying to, stuff. But like I said, I'm going to go back and clean this kit up big time. Anyway, we're going to use our Mr. Cement to seal these parts together, since as you can see, there's a lot that is held together with tape and dreams at the moment.
it would be cool to see you do a video recording of just, like, how to best apply Mr. Cement, because sometimes I have issues with it.
That's a good point. I realize that not a lot of people necessarily, a lot of people stand by it, and I'm one of them, but like, yeah, it's nobody really knows how to apply it.
Things fall apart for me.
Are you gonna use it where you melt down the runners
Make a little
to clean up the
screw
lines?
glue? That might be the way to go. So I recently learned this, and I talked about it on Discord the other day, is that there is in fact a difference between sprue glue and sprue goo.
Mm.
So the primary ingredient in this Mr. Cement stuff is acetone. So technically you could take nail polish remover and do the same thing. However, there it's combined, it's a 50-50 ratio between um acetone and butyl acetate. So it's got like a stronger compound mixed with the acetone in order to give you that extra oomph that melts the plastic down. So I'm trying to find like places where I can buy like bulk butyl acetate where it doesn't look like I'm, making explosives in my
Yeah.
garage or something like that. Like, wow, this guy's ordering a lot of hazardous chemicals and having them shipped to his house.
It's for my models, I
I
swear.
swear, I'm just making miniature robots. Um,
It's for my YouTube channel.
because this stuff's expensive, and people will say you can use the Tamiya airbrush cleaner solution. That's like a third of the price. It costs twice as much, but you get 3 times more. Um, so point being, sprue goo is when you just melt the parts in acetone, and it tends to be more pasty, and sprue glue to your runners in Mr. Cement, which gives you like a much thinner, can apply it more like paint.
Makes sense.
Which makes me
Now,
want to revisit one of my old videos where I tried to cast parts in silicone molds using sprue goo. I'm willing to bet that if I were to melt the parts in this stuff instead of acetone, that we might get better results.
keep that thought on the applying it. Would you apply it on top when it's already together, or would you apply it from like the inside and then put it together,
Yeah, I'd probably sandwich it.
and then you would just go back and sand it?
At least that's how I would do it.
Getting my knowledge for the day.
Right. Insert that GIF from Back to the Future. Ooh, good stuff. I'm writing this down.
You know something I learned the other day that it really killed me, and I think it's from RoboCop, from one of the commercials where somebody's like, "I'll buy that for $1." I didn't realize that's where that saying came from.
Oh, yeah.
And somebody said that to me the other day, like, "Oh, RoboCop fan," and I was like, "No." And they're like, "Oh," because I made that joke to somebody, and
Oh yeah, there's a bit of deep lore regarding the first RoboCop movie, and oh man, see, this is what happens when you don't tape it. Yeah, seeing as we're at it about an hour, I'm gonna have to clean this guy up here in a minute, but I will leave you with one story. A bit of deep lore about the RoboCop movie. My brother has shared this theory with me. My brother is hilarious, by the way. So, towards the end of the RoboCop movie, one of the gangsters, covered in acid, melting, his face is all messed up, and he runs around the corner and he runs into one of his buddies, and the guy like hits him, and he's like, "Stay off me, man!" And my brother insists that this was done against the knowledge of this other actor, that he didn't know how realistic the melted face makeup was going to be, and that they just surprised him with it. Because he swears that there is no way that reaction was not authentic.
You never know. That's a good point. They do that sometimes in movies to
Oh yeah,
shock the actors.
like with Alan Rickman throwing him off the the Nakatomi Plaza.
For real.
Shout out to Rogue New Type again. Thanks for the super chat. I can't duel folks like Guard Captain like you, Steven. Well, Guard Captain is a whole nother level of lore expertise. He's the mod over on the Discord server. Yeah, engage him with care because he will flatten you with UC lore knowledge.
Ask him for knowledge. Don't force it on him.
Yeah. Lucas, oh, good to have you. You have a good afternoon and evening too. See you guys later and catch you around the server, of course. Yeah. So, like I said, that about wraps it up for today because, clearly this kit still needs a little bit of a love to be, in tip-top shape. But yeah, like I said, this is always a fun format where we're just building and chatting, hanging out.
Yep.
Goose, thank you so much for joining us again this week.
Anytime. I love being the third wheel.
Thank you guys so much for keeping the chat lively. Captain Philippines, again, congratulations on your pending engagement. I hope that I hope that that your girlfriend's not watching this stream. I hope that that's we didn't just like
she's gonna be expecting it.
We wasted the good surprise on you. But yeah, definitely hit up the links in the description below. Check out Adam's video rating the G-Witch mobile suits from this morning. Tomorrow we've got the Gundam Explained show live, 12 Eastern.
Yep.
12 Eastern, 11 Central. See,
Yeah.
one of these days I'm going to get time zones right.
Never. You never will.
Never. But yeah, like I said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed seeing this vintage kit and seeing some of the neat gimmicks that they came up with back in 1989.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Thank you, Adam, as always, for co-hosting. Thank you, Goose, for joining. We will catch you all later.
See you guys.
See y'all.
Stay goosey.
Got him. Go fuck yourself, San Diego.
I was holding on to the end.
Cheers.
Wow.